Chapter 51. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Translator. Vesper Wan Li's words made the crowd to cause an uproar. They looked at Madame Chen in disbelief. She actually spent money to ruin a maiden's innocence. How cruel was she? There was someone who could not bear to see this and thought himself to be older than Madame Chen. Roar. Madame Chen, how can you do this kind of thing? You are truly asking to be struck by thunder. Ah. What does this has to do with you? It's not like the person is your family's maiden. Madame Chen snorted and spoke in dissatisfaction. Only her son was a scholar in the whole White Mountain village. This was a special identity. Based on what could those old ladies got all arrogant with her? They did not even see what kind of status they held. The old person who was being stifled was angered until his whole body trembled. He glared at Madame Chen. Fine. I have never thought that you Madame Chen is so impertinent. Madame Chen coldly snorted. My son is White Mountain Village's only scholar. What could you do to me? That's right. What could they do to Madame Chen? That person need not to kneel even before the county magistrate. What could they as commoners do? The crowd exchanged glances with each other while Ning Mengyao ridiculed. Since that is so, then I don't need to give your family's scholar face. Let us settle this at the court. As she said this, she dragged Wang Li out. Her meaning was clear. Since you said that I could not do anything to you, then we will go to the court and see what the county magistrate would say about tainting one's innocence. Wang Li regretted very badly. Why did he agree to Madame Chen? This was simply asking for his life. Ancestor, living ancestor. I am wrong, please let me go this once. Shut up. Okay, I will shut up. Wang Li saw that Ning Mengyao was impatient and immediately shut his mouth, lest he provoke the person to anger. Madame Chen saw this and knew that Ning Mengyao was serious. In the whole White Mountain village, she could not fear anyone and be haughty to anyone, including the village head. But if heading to the court, then that would be alarming. She did not dare do that. Ning Mengyao, USL*T, stop. Madame Chen screamed with a shrill voice. The SL*T calls who? The SL*T calls you. Madame Chen did not think and directly replied. Ning Mengyao had an expression of someone who was enlightened and nodded her head. So it is the SL*T who calls me. No wonder it is smelly. Now, if Madame Chen still could not understand, then she would have lived in vain. She pointed a trembling finger to Ning Mengyao. You. What do you want? What do I want? Is not what you want. Did I burn down your house or kidnap your family? Why do you use this kind of malicious scheme against me? Did they thought that she was a soft pillow that could be pinched whenever? Madame Chen had now words to reply. If she said it was because of Qiao Tianchang, then Yang Chui's reputation would be ruined. Moreover, she did not think that Qiao Tianchang deserved her daughter. But Yang Chui did not think this way and pointed at Ning Mengyao with a shrill voice. Ning Mengyao, based on what can you be like this to my mom? So what if we did this? Your kind of person, a fox temptress, can only deserve this kind of man. Yang Chui's venomous words was heard by the crowd, but Ning Mengyao did not care. She step by step walked forward and slapped Yang Chui a few times, making Yang Chui let out pain sounds. Don't say SL*T and fox temptress once you open your mouth. You are shameless and push the blame on others. People like you, I've seen many. Saying unpleasantly, that would be feeling inferior. Was this not the truth? Yang Chui behaved like she was feeling inferior. Qiao Tianchang did not like her, so she pushed all the blame onto Ning Mengyao. This was fine, but she even wanted to slander Ning Mengyao. This kind of thing, if done once, that was fine. But after a long time, it would make people unhappy. Yang Cui gritted her teeth as she looked at Ning Mengyao. The pain on her face reminded herself what had happened. Ning Mengyao, I will not stop. You dare to slap me, who do you think you are? You're a shameless SL*T. Are telling me not to let you off, wanting to send you free lunch. Ning Mengyao's voice became incomparably cold. Her gaze was as if dipped in poison. Yang Cui was scared as she covered her mouth, looking at Ning Mengyao in fear. Chapter 52. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Vesper Madame Chen immediately stretched out her hand and pushed her daughter behind her. Ning Mengyao coldly and elegantly looked at her action. After she protected Yang Cui at her back, Ning Mengyao ridiculed. This is the last time, Madame Chen. Don't think that having a scholar as a son makes you forget your own surname. If you pair of mother and daughter provoke me once more, then you can try and see what happen. Seeing whether or not she was good at speaking, just don't cry too badly when the time comes. Madame Chen stupidly trembled, but did not want to end it this way. She gritted her teeth and balled her fist as she walked to Ning Mengyao. I am the mother of a scholar. What can a lowly B*tch like you can do to me? You want me to do something to you? Fine, then why don't we go? Just don't regret it later. Ning Mengyao indifferently said, as if the whole matter was not related to her. Madame Chen's face changed. How could she not understand what Ning Mengyao meant? She wanted to take this to the court. No, this could not be done. Mother, what is this? At this time, a sound traveled from outside. Hearing this voice, Madame Chen was as if she had found her backbone, immediately pounced away. Son, you must help mother. This lowly B*tch actually said that she wants to take mother to the court. Madame Chen held Yang Huai's hand as she clenched her teeth. Yang Huai frowned, turning his head to look at Ning Mengyao. Beside her was a middle-aged man kneeling, his face was filled with wounds, his body was trembling greatly. What is happening? Coldly laughing, Ning Mengyao mockingly stared at Yang Huai. Are you talking to me? Yang Huai choked. Before, the things Madame Chen did to Ning Mengyao made him felt he had no face. But today, seeing his mother like this and his little sister unstoppably bitter as if something big happened, so he inquired about this scene. Lady Ning, where it is possible to let people off, one should spare them. Even if my mother did something bad, but she is older than you, and is also your elder. How can you be like this? Yang Huai looked as if he was thinking for Ning Mengyao, helplessly said. This is also not good for your reputation. Elder. I, Ning Mengyao, can never be able to bear having someone who spend money to tarnish others' innocence as an elder. Yang Huai, don't you be shameless when someone is giving you face. Do you think that a scholar is something amazing? Ning Mengyao coldly laughed. This Yang Huai had not seen things clearly. Really made one disappointed. Yang Huai's face changed, looking at his mother in disbelief. Mother, is what she said true? Madame Chen's face turned, quickly shaking her head. No, how can mother do this kind of thing? This is all her slandering me. Chen family's sister. Law, when you say those words, don't you touch your conscience. We all heard what you said outside. Wang Lai Zi also acknowledged. You spend money to let him tarnish Ning girl's innocence. And now, you said it like that, are you not afraid of being struck by lightning? That's right, that's right. You said it yourself just now. Do you think that now your scholar son is back, you become amazing? Actually saying these kind of words, really too much. Yeah. I see that it is good to let the maidens in our house to distance themselves from Sister Cui. So they won't be clueless if they got harmed. The crowd was you said I continue, angering Yang Huai until his face turned white. He looked at his mother in disbelief. Mother, I only ask you whether what they said is true or not. Yo, why are you still asking? She even said that she was the mother of a scholar. What can you do to me? I'm really scared. That is a scholar's mother, you know. A voice with biting sarcasm sounded in the crowd. She was Madame Chen's sister. In law, Madame Du, although they had already separated their house and now providing for the old man, but because Madame Chen had two outstanding sons, she was haughty. Now that there was a chance, she would not let it pass. Madame Du's words attracted the crowd's sympathetic response. Right. She has a scholar as a son, what about us? We are only commoners, how can we afford to provoke her? Yang Huai was angered until his whole body trembled. He knew that Madame Chen usually used her status as the mother of a scholar to be haughty and arrogant. Chapter 53 You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Vesper Since there had been no big problem so he pretended not to know, but this matter occurring right now was simply a disgrace to him. Mother, have you forgotten the words I told you before? When returning from Ning Mengyao's home, he talked to Madame Chen once and she solemnly pledged, but only in a few days, the person had changed simply too quick. Madame Chen looked at her son in unease, suddenly remembering the promise she made to her son. Being reminded suddenly, her face was burning hot unpleasantly. But she did not think that she was wrong. All these were Ning Mengyao's fault, what did this had to do with her? Son, don't hear their foolish words. Mother did not, how can mother does this kind of thing? Madame Chen held Yang Huai's hand and awkwardly smiled. Ning Mengyao who was at the side originally wanted to see what Yang Huai would do when confronting the masses' anger but she did not think that he was actually still asking Madame Chen. This was out of her expectations, wholly out. Ning Mengyao smiled a smile that did not look like a smile while looking at Madame Chen. Oh, you did not do these things. Very good, it seems that I've wrongly accused you. Since that is so, then let us go meet the county lord. Madame Chen should not be afraid, right? Since you did not do these. That's right. Madame Chen, you say that you did not do these, do you dare to confront the court? Madame Chen's body trembled non-stop, her eyes carried fear. Seeing her like this, Yang Huai understood what happened. Disappointedly staring at Madame Chen. Mother, I am truly disappointed in you. Enough, don't say anything anymore. Ning Mengyao saw that the two people began fighting and was impatient. She did not come here to watch them fight. Enough. If you want to fight, then close the door and fight. I just want to ask what does your family intends to do regarding this matter? This wrong, I cannot accept. In the White Mountain village, others always thought her to be easy to bully, to the extent people wanted to pinch her. Before, it was Yang Xiu-er, and now Madame Chen and her daughter. This time, she wanted to let people know that she, Ning Mengyao, was not easy to be pinched. Yang Huai softly sighed and gazed at Ning Mengyao. Lady Ning, on the account of my face, please let go of my mother and sister. On the account of your face. How big is your face? Ning Mengyao rudely asked back. Yang Huai's face changed somewhat unpleasant. What do you want? Here. These words are as if I'm the one who is wrong. Yang Huai, did you read your books to the stomach of a dog? Yang Huai's face was ugly. He also knew that today's matter was his family at the wrong. No matter what, she had the right to be angry. If it was him, he would also be unhappy. What right did he have to ask for the others' forgiveness? This matter is my family at the wrong. I will definitely give Ning Lady a satisfying justice. In the end, Yang Huai hardened his heart and said. Ning Mengyao looked at Yang Huai with a smile that did not look like a smile and decided to believe him. I hope you can do what you said. After all, if the news of a scholar has a mother who schemes others and wants to taint a maiden's innocence spreads out, it will not be good, right? A threat. Ning Mengyao was threatening Yang Huai. But so what? Yang Huai could not say anything. Yang Huai's face was sullen as he nodded. Seeing him like this, Ning Mengyao lightly laughed. She squatted down to stare at Wang Lizi, who was on the ground, and faintly said, "Don't let me see you again. I will make you not be able to be a man. If you don't believe me, you can try." Wang Lizi's whole body trembled and immediately nodded his head. "I know. I swear." Possessing 20 silver, he could buy a house and a wife. Why would he still go to others? After this, he would go as far as he could from this white mountain village. Bedo Dem, hearing Ning Mengyao's words, not only Wang Lizi, even the males around could not help but step back and carefully press together their legs. This girl was too scary. Seeing Wang Lizi staggering as he left, Ning Mengyao turned to see Yang Huai. "I am waiting for the justice from your family. I hope it will be as you said." Chapter 54. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Vesper. If the answer they gave her was not something she wanted, then she would not mind help them. Squinting her eyes, a dangerous glint flashed by. When Ning Mengyao left, the people watching the show could not help making a path for her. They only knew now that this girl who looked like she was easy to bully was actually not easy to bully at all. Since there was no more ruckus, the crowd slowly ceased. Smiling as he sent people away, Yang Huai closed the door and used ice-cold gaze to look at Madame Chen and Yang Chui. "Mother, you did not take my words seriously." Madame Chen's body stiffened and stared at her own son. "Son, what do you mean?" "What do I mean? You think that Ning Mengyao is a simple orphan." Studying outside, he saw more than Madame Chen. Ning Mengyao's moves and aura was not something ordinary people could match. Regarding Ning Mengyao, he had told Madame Chen earlier to not offend her, but Madame Chen did not stop. Before, it was because of the land that she unstoppably made ruckus, making him impatient. Now it was this matter. He suspected very much that his mother could not hear human language. Madame Chen's face turned white as she looked at her son. "But she bullied Chui'er." The most important thing was that she wanted Yang Huai to help them vent off their anger, who knew that Wang Lizi was not useful. "Mother, you should be glad that nothing happened. If something really happened, then not only you, but also our family will be implicated. And Yang Chui, you restrain yourself. Don't agitate mother to provoke that woman. She is not someone you can provoke." Yang Huai coldly looked at Yang Chui. This sister was normally fine, but sometimes she was weird. Now something like this happened. Yang Chui's face was a moment green and a moment white, unsightly. Yet she did not refute this second older brother. She feared him the most. Seeing the two of them not speaking, Yang Huai turned and went back to the room. When night came and his father Yang Song came back, Yang Huai told him about this matter. Yang Song was an honest person. After knowing this matter, he slapped Madame Chen twice. He did not care Madame Chen's bitter wail and locked her up. He said to let her clear her mind, so she won't do any dirty things again. Doviko. On the second day, Yang Song and Yang Huai carried presents to Ning Mengyao's house. "Mengyao girl, we are really sorry regarding yesterday's matter. That troublesome wife of mine is being locked up. She will not give you trouble in the future." Ning Mengyao did not speak, only looking at Yang Song. After a long while, she opened her mouth faintly. "It's best if that is so. If there is a next time, then don't blame me being merciless. If that time comes, not say you, even if the village head comes, I will not stop. You better remember this." "Yes, yes, yes. I know, the wrong is at us. I hope you will forgive us." Yang Song immediately nodded his head. His face carried awkwardness and a loss at what to do. Yang Huai was frowning greatly. He was still standing at the side and not giving his father any face like this. If this was spread, how could he pass off? "You should retrieve your presents." "Yang Huai, my temper is not as good as you think. I will let off once or twice, but not the third. Once or twice, she could endure, but don't blame her heart less on the third. Yang Huai's face changed. Seeing Ning Mengyao's ice-cold gaze, his body stiffened and nodded. I know. This kind of thing won't happen again. This way is good. Watch your sister, don't let her bite others like a mad dog. Yes. This matter was settled like this, but would Ning Mengyao be so kind-hearted to let off that pair of mother and daughter like that? Of course not. The people who heard and saw yesterday was many. If Madame Chen and Yang Chui could still live well and good in the village, then she would write her name backwards. Just as expected, in the short span of 2 to 3 days, the matter about what Madame Chen and Yang Chui did spread out throughout the whole White Mountain village, even neighboring villages knew about it. Currently, that pair of mother and daughter did not dare go out their house. Once they went out, they would be pointed. It was better to stay at home. After Ning Mengyao heard this news, she smiled. This way was good, at least they did not went out to annoy people. Chapter 55. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Vesper. Since there was no one who came to bring her trouble, Ning Mengyao's life was turning peaceful. But it would soon be lively because of her land. Seeing the people who came to her house, a few the family of the children that studied to her place. Their families were poor, and hearing what others said about Ning Mengyao wanting to rent off the lands, they all came. The last 20 miao high-quality land was divided among the families, and aside from the tax, they need to give Ning Mengyao 30% of their profit every year. The medium-quality land was rented by 2 families whose situations were a bit hard. Although it was not comparable with high-quality land, but it was also good. After paying the tax, they need to submit 20% of their profit. The people who came to rent the land were very much satisfied. High-quality lands and medium-quality lands' production rate were not the same. Ning Mengyao was not planning to rent out the last 5 miao lower-quality land, but a family from outside said that they did not have any land, so lower-quality land was fine. More profit could be gained from it. Having no other way, Ning Mengyao could only rent the 5 miai land. Finally everything was fine. After receiving the silvers, the lands were rented out. Since the villagers did not understand about taxes, Yang Zhu accompanied by the whole process and helped Ning Mengyao to record them down. After finishing those works and the others left, Ning Mengyao looked at Yang Zhu. Uncle Yang, thank you for your help today. Yang Zhu shook his head to indicate that it was all right. What trouble? But girl, what are you planning to do about the land at the base of the mountain and the dry land? There were 35 miao left. Ning Mengyao told him about her thoughts on it. Since you've had a plan about it, then I will not say anything. If you need any help, just say to me. Yang Zhu saw Ning Mengyao had plans already and smiled. Okay, I will do that. After saying some more things to Ning Mengyao, Yang Zhu left while Ning Mengyao took out a brush, ink, and paper to write. She wrote her plans and some other things. Spending a whole afternoon, Ning Mengyao then tidied all the things up. Lastly, she realized that the dry land nearing the east side was useless and it was near a pretty big river. Regarding why there would be a dry land near a river, it was because the land was too high, moreover, the river was too deep and could not be used for irrigation. Thinking about this problem, Ning Mengyao stood up and went to that place. Looking at the rushing water of the river below, she then walked forward and realized that the water flowed even more rushed. Her heart gave to a plan. Isn't this place suitable for cultivating fishes? After going back from the river, Ning Mengyao pondered thoroughly and felt that cultivating the fishes there was not a bad decision. She wrote her plans and thoughts on a piece of paper quickly. Finishing her writings, Ning Mengyao found out that she was already hungry. Rubbing her empty like void stomach, Ning Mengyao went to the kitchen and made a pan-fried rice for herself, then took her embroidery out to complete it. Not long after she started embroidering, an uninvited guest came inside who was Yang Xiu'er. Yang Xiao stood by Ning Menyao's side and used a prodding gaze to look at herself. That kind as if Ning Mengyao had done something that could not be said out, something immoral, and caused her to felt repulsive. It seems that you have forgotten the words I said to you. The embroidery movement in Ning Mengyao's hands did not stop, yet her voice was faint and cold as ice. Yang Xiao'er's body slightly stiffened and turned her head to look at Ning Mengyao, her mouth carried a bitter smile. Do you really cannot stand me? These past few days, Yang Chui had received those kinds of unfriendly treatments that made her heart birthed a wave of frost. Wasn't she always been like that? Because trying an attempt to get something from Ning Mengyao, she got a body full of disturbance instead. The actions of Ning Mengyao's hands halted and she raised her head to see Yang Xiao who had on a face full of tears. She then ridiculed. I cannot stand you. May I ask what is the relationship between the two of us? Yang Xiao was startled. She had thought of what Ning Mengyao might say, even going as far as forgiving her, but hearing Ning Mengyao saying this, Yang Xiao now knew how naive and idiotic she was. Chapter 56. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Vesper, that's right. Ning Mengyao had no relation towards her. She could enter and exit Ning Mengyao's house freely before was because she hardened her face to do it. What about now? If there's nothing, I hope you can go out of my house, I don't welcome you. Ning Mengyao impatiently spoke. Ning Mengyao thought that after the things that happened, Yang Xiao would not find trouble for herself again, but who knew that she thought things too simple and was seen as a good person. Mengyao, I know that the things I did before are wrong, I really know my wrongs. Can you forgive me just this once? Yang Xiao begged Ning Mengyao. Yang Xiao realized that Ning Mengyao was more skilled than she thought. These past few days, she always pondered that if she could make Ning Mengyao wholeheartedly treat her, then her success won't be small and she could even pass a luxurious life. That was why she came to find Ning Mengyao, to make Ning Mengyao forgive her and continue being friends with her. Looking at Yang Xiao with a smile that did not look like a smile, Ning Mengyao's eyes carried dissatisfaction and ridicule. You said you were wrong. What does this has to do with me? That was right, didn't this had no relation to her? It was not like she never gave Yang Xiao chances, it was only Yang Xiao did not treasure it. You are really cruel. Ning Mengyao put the embroidery needle on the cloth and stood to meet Yang Xiao's eyes. I gave you chances, but you did not know how to cherish them. Yang Xiao, don't think yourself too smart and others too stupid. I will not see you off. Such a blatant send-off, would Yang Xiao still stay? Of course she would not. Gritting her teeth as she looked at Ning Mengyao, Yang Xiao roared at Ning Mengyao. Ning Mengyao, I will make you regret. She would make Ning Mengyao regret the things she did to her today. Ning Mengyao turned her head and faintly said. I am waiting. Yang Xiao went back to her house in a dispirited state. Madame Luo saw her like this and became worried. Girl, why are you like this? Who bullied you? Mom, I've lowered my head and begged Ning Mengyao, why won't she forgive me? Yang Xiao's eyes were filled with confusion, making Madame Luo felt sorry for her. Reaching out her hand and hugging her daughter, Madame Luo said. Why are you looking for her again? Haven't you eaten enough loss? Mom, Ning Mengyao is very skilled, if I follow her, I will be able to live in luxury. Just like the current Yang Lulu. Even though their house did not change, but from the things they wore and sending Yang Ji to study in the town, their condition could be seen. Yang Lulu must have earned much money these days. What about her? Yang Xiao knew Ning Mengyao earlier than Yang Lulu, but the thing she got was not as much as Yang Lulu. Yang Xiao even ate loss instead. Thinking about the pointings, Yang Xiao's eyes were full of hatred and anger. They were friends, based on what could she be prejudiced? Based on what could she, Ning Mengyao, treat her this way? If Ning Meng Yao knew what Yang Xiu was thinking, then she would say, "Maiden, you're thinking too much." After Yang Xiu came, Ning Meng Yao did not have the heart to do embroidery. She sat in the courtyard and gazed at the vegetables and faintly smiled. Actually, she had many things she could do, and not put her thoughts on someone else, wasn't it? Thinking this, Ning Meng Yao's thoughts cleared. She stood up and pat the non-existent dust on her and walked out. Arriving at Yang house, Ning Meng Yao spoke out her ideas and Yang Zhu, who listened, nodded his head in agreement. "All right, I will help you find this person. I will thank Uncle Yang in advance. Can the wage be 70 won a day without meal?" Ning Meng Yao suggested a reasonable price. Yang Zhu mulled it over and agreed. "All right, this is already high enough. I believe a lot of people will come to participate." Good. On the second day after the discussion, Yang Zhu brought people over. Ning Meng Yao told her ideas to them. They then knew that she was planning to cover fowl house and courtyard wall. TL. I don't quite get the last one, but the literal translation is that. If anyone know what is the right translation fork.e.a.sent, please tell me. Thanks. TL. Sorry for the sudden break in translation. I got many exams for the whole month and I forgot to tell you guys. Sorry. Bow as an apology, I will update a chapter every 3 days until early July, starting from next week, before I will get busy again. Thank you for your support. Chapter 57. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Vesper. Waiting after Ning Meng Yao had assigned things, one of the workers went to buy tiles. Ning Meng Yao had given him the money. Lastly, Yang Yi, whose leg was now fine, planned to follow behind. Girl, once the construction is done, what are you planning to do? Yang Zhu saw that the workers had started their jobs and asked in curiosity. Growing chicken and cultivating fishes. Ning Meng Yao did not hide anything and told him the things that she planned on doing. Yang Zhu thought it over and felt that it could work. Okay, when the time comes, we will come to help you. I've decided to let Big Brother Yang help me. She could not do all those alone. She would find a few people to work there while she managed the things outside. Fine. The news of people working in Ning Meng Yao's house spread, but no one really cared. Even if she wanted to surround all her lands, that would be her problem. Not only that, not small amount of people wanted to see Ning Meng Yao made a fool of herself. Regarding this matter, Ning Meng Yao was ignorant about it. She spent around a month before completing the fish pond and chicken house. Busying these, the autumn harvest had arrived. Ning Meng Yao did not want to immediately act, only seeing the first field of golden yellow. Wheat was planted there and there were rice. The large field of golden color swayed under the gentle breeze as waves of golden what came to be. It was a spectacular and beautiful sight. Ning Meng Yao smiled and turned her body. Since the autumn harvest came, the children went back home to help their family, which she had leisure time instead. Looking the colors of red, green, and the yellow leaves on the mountain, Ning Meng Yao's eyes lit up. The wild fruits on the mountain should be ripe too, right? Thinking, Ning Meng Yao took the back basket and locked the door before going to the mountain. What she did not know was that after she left, a person stealthily appeared on her front door and looked at her surroundings. After she was sure that no one was there, she pried open the lock and went inside. After she went in, she searched throughout the whole room. When she did not find anything, she cursed lowly and gloomily. Thought she found a lot of food in the kitchen. White rice, white noodle, fish meat, and wild foods. Seeing those, she swallowed down her saliva. Then she took all those things and quickly ran outside. Ning Meng Yao saw the various wild fruits on the mountain and her mood became good. Once she saw something that could be eaten, she would pluck it and put it into her back basket. She even saw wild grapes growing in the mountain. Seeing the grapes, Ning Meng Yao's eyes lit up. This was good stuff. She put her back basket down and saw that the basket was half filled. Ning Meng Yao plucked the strings of grapes and put them in her basket until the basket was full. Putting on her back basket, Ning Meng Yao went back with quick steps. Her originally good mood crashed when she saw the pried open lock. Her expression became ugly. Picking up the pried lock, Ning Meng Yao's eyes were filled with sunken coldness. It seemed that she was targeted lately. But were her things that easy to take? Ning Meng Yao walked inside and looked around, noticing that her room and other rooms were a mess, being flipped into this. Her things in the room were not taken, but the kitchen was as if a disaster happened. Her wild fruits were gone, her white rice were the same. Even a gourd of oil was taken. That person was most likely trying to find money but could not find it, so she settled for the next best thing, taking her rice, noodle, oil, and wild fruits away. Coldly smiling, Ning Meng Yao's eyes became full of ridicule. Was her things easy to take? Taking her things, she wanted that person to vomit blood directly. Putting her back basket in the room, Ning Meng Yao turned her body and walked toward Yang Zhu's house. When he heard that a thing broke into Ning Meng Yao's house, Yang Zhu was not calm and collected. Not only that, a few elders came along. Ning Meng Yao took them to see her wrecked rooms and the kitchen. The people's faces became dark and scary. They were afraid that their White Mountain village produced a thief. Chapter 58. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Vesper. When Yang Zhu and the other elders saw Ning Meng Yao's house that was akin to a place where locusts passed through, their faces turned ugly. They had lived in White Mountain Village for so many years and had never encountered a case of theft. But it had appeared now, and to an orphan girl nonetheless. Ning Meng Yao's action of renting out land had made the villagers very grateful. The land she rented was small, only a 10 few miao. Even if she did not rent, the benefit of people who took on long-term work was far better than having that rent. But now, there was someone who dared to bully her. This was simply hitting their faces. Yang Zhu, we must investigate this matter thoroughly. The culprit must be punished without leniency. The oldest person in the crowd angrily slammed the table and said heatedly. Uncle, let me deal with this matter. Yang Zhu's face was very ugly. Even though there were some villagers who had bad personality, but there had not been this kind of affair. If this case was spread out, who would want to marry the younglings of the village? How could they raise their heads in front of others? Thinking these, Yang Zhu felt hateful. Go gather the villagers. We must investigate this matter clearly. Yang Zhu spoke to the person beside him heatedly. Let's go. Ning Meng Yao was helpless, she could only follow them to the village and saw them called out the villagers one by one. This made the mass of people curious. This was a time of harvest, what could be more important than that? Waiting until most of the villagers had gathered, Yang Zhu coldly said. I know all of you want to know why we are gathered here. But there is something that must be said. The crowd looked at each other in helplessness. Why were the elders infuriated like this? Village head, what on earth happened? That's right. Why are the elders angered like this? From the time White Mountain Village was built, there has been disputes among the neighbors, but those were never severe. But today, there has been a case of thief. Yang Zhu said this and stopped. The people heard this and exploded into ruckus. What? There was a thief in their village. What happened? Ning Meng Yao stood at the side and looked at the people intently. Her mouth slightly curved up. There was someone whose expression made her happily surprised. All right, everyone calm down. Today, Meng Yao girl came back from the mountain to realize that her lock had been pried open. 2 to 3 rooms are a wreck. Her blankets and mattresses are messy, the chests are also chaotic. Not only that, the rice, noodle, oil, and the pickled wild fruits in the kitchen are gone. After Yang Zhu spoke, everyone was stunned silly. What did the rooms wrecked messy meant? That meant that person was trying to search for money and the likes. The culprit might not find it, so she took the food stored. We had gone to see this. Meng Yao's rooms are made as if a locust had passed through it. She has not keep wild animals. If she has, wouldn't they all got stolen? What was locust? Locust was the insect those people hated the most because the places it went through were messy until nothing was left. Using this to represent Ning Meng Yao's house indicated that it was probably not good. That's right. This is not one person's little problem. If this spreads out, how can our village raise its head again? How can the maidens and boys get married? Not only that, if this person makes this a habit, now it is Meng Yao girl's house, then it will be ours after. A few elders spoke out their thoughts. This matter was originally not related to them, but now they were vigilant. That was right. They lived in the same village. If it's just once then it's fine, but what if this became a habit and the culprits steal things to their houses? Thinking like that, everybody became restless. Which family did not have maiden and boy? Wasn't this just smearing their village black? Chapter 59. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Vesper Ning Meng Yao looked at Yang Zhu, who in a short amount of time evoked the anger in the villagers with a face that carried a smile, her lips slightly curled up with a smile that did not look like a smile that was filled with ridicule. Walking to Yang Zhu's side, Ning Meng Yao scanned the crowd below and smiled as she said. Everyone here belongs to the same village. I also do not wish to make this into a big ruckus. If the culprit return all the things stolen from me by tomorrow morning, I will write this matter off. But if tomorrow morning I still do not see the stolen things, then I will not hold back. These words were already the biggest kindness. Only returning the things, then everything would be fine. This was also not bad. The crowd discussed with small voice, feeling Ning Meng Yao was really too kind. Her things were stolen yet she still said those words. This was truly. What words should they say was good? Since Meng Yao girl said that, then the matter will be settled this way. The person who stole the things, wish you look out for yourself. Saying this, the crowd dispersed. The villagers still had things to do. Waiting the rest to leave, Yang Zhu stared at Ning Meng Yao. Yaoer, how can you speak such words? If we investigate. Although this is also a way, but investigating others' home is not that appropriate, so I think that if the culprit is willing to return my things then it is fine. If not, then don't blame me for being merciless. Ning Meng Yao's eyes were cold. Yang Zhu nodded. Do you know who did this? Yes, I know. The remaining people felt cold and faced each other. Yang Zhu was curious. How did you know? Just think who acted the most abnormally in the gathering just now. The few people thought back and after glancing at one another, they all spoke out a name. Ning Meng Yao nodded. That's right. It is her. Then what are we waiting for? It's all right. Let's give her a chance. Ning Meng Yao leisurely said. We'll listen to you. We're off to help. If she does not return the things tomorrow, then you tell us. Okay. The rest left to help harvest and there were only Yang Zhu and Ning Meng Yao in the room. Yang Zhu looked at Ning Meng Yao in guilt. How could he not know what Ning Meng Yao meant? Under his supervision, there was a thief among the villagers. If this went out, then people might say that he did not supervise right. When that time came, he might not be able to explain anything. Hopefully, that person would return the things back. Don't let everyone ashamed. Ning Meng Yao spoke a few things with Yang Zhu before she went back. When she left, she took a pouch containing white rice that was bought from Yang Zhu's house. She had nothing to eat now at home. If she did not buy, then she would starve. Coming back home, Ning Meng Yao steamed the white rice and took out her rabbit mince meat and mushroom paste, then eat both of them. After eating, she walked to the storeroom and put her grapes out. She washed a string and eat it. The grape was sour yet sweet, the taste was very good. Seeing that it was still early after dinner, Ning Mengyao went to rent a cart to go to the town. At the town, she bought 10 jugs, rice, noodle, and vegetables, then leave afterward. It was quite dark when she arrived at home. She paid the cart and randomly eat something. Only then did she start making grape wine. Seeing the grapes, she had one thing in her mind, and that was grape wine. She still could make some grape paste, but she did not like it much. Thinking about the grape wine made Ning Mengyao's eyes lit up. After spending around 2 hours to process all the grapes, she thought in her heart that she had to continue going. Taking the chance that the grapes were still there, she wanted to make some more grape wine lest she did not have enough. Lying on the bed, she thought and thought until she fell asleep. When she opened her eyes on the second day, the sky was bright. Once she finished washing up, she looked outside but there was nothing. Ning Mengyao coldly laughed. Since the culprit did not want this chance, then she won't be soft-hearted. She turned her body to the kitchen to make porridge and taking out the dishes she made. After eating, she leisurely walked toward the village. Chapter 60. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Vesper people who did not want face even when given, and since the culprit thought that she could pass this robbery, then don't blame her Ning Mengyao for not holding back. When Ning Mengyao went to Yang Zhu's house, there was nobody home. She lightly raised her brow and remembered that it seemed that they went to harvest. Thinking about it, she walked to the farm field and saw Yang Zhu and his family not far away. After seeing Ning Mengyao, the people harvesting were stunned. It seemed that the thief did not return her things back. If the things were returned, then would she need to come back here? Of course not. Mengyao girl, is it? Yes, the things did not return. Then we. Uncle Yang, no need. Let's wait until night to speak about this. Right now, harvesting is more important. Saying this, she went down to help. Although she could not help other things, but she still could help picking up the wheat ears left on the ground. In the span of a whole day, Ning Mengyao helped Yang Zhu's family to harvest, as if she did not worry about a thing. When thinking about the money in her hand, the people understood. Being calm, she did not mind those things stolen, but only could not swallow down this thievery. After the people went back home to eat dinner at night, they all went to Ning Mengyao's home without appointment beforehand. Only a family did not come. There was someone who was kind-hearted enough to call them out and went in to see a table full of white rice, white noodle, mantu, even roasted chicken and rabbit meat. This. What are you doing coming inside? Madame Luo's piercing voice sounded beside the person's ear. The person who came to call Madame Luo and her family used a deep look to stare at Madame Luo and lightly said. The village head wants everyone to go catch the thief. As he spoke, his gaze lingered at the table full of food. That gaze made Madame Luo's heart to get frightened. Saying this, the person immediately leave and did not give Madame Luo any chance to speak. Yang Xiao looked at her own mother. The face was pale white. Mom. It's fine. Eat quickly. We will also go and see. The moths are coming out. Madame Luo impatiently said, looking as if not satisfied. That made Yang Xiao gap open her mouth, wanting to say something, but in the end, put the words back in her stomach. After dinner, Madame Luo and her family went to the village head's house. But when they went to it, people were using probing gaze to look at them. Those gazes made Yang Xiao very unhappy. What are you guys looking at? The crowd coldly smiled and did not speak, only seeing Yang Zhu. Village head, the person has arrived. Yang Zhu nodded and looked at Ning Mengyao, letting her speak for herself. Ning Mengyao walked up and looked at the people below. Following that, Yang Lula took out a white color cloth bag. Everyone must be curious why I take out a cloth bag. Actually, this is to catch the thief. The crowd started to discuss among themselves. How could a cloth bag catch the thief? I wish everybody will cooperate. Every person must grab the cloth bag. Who left mark on it will be the thief. Ning Mengyao smiled as she explained. They people heard this and thought it was all right, so they nodded. Ning Mengyao took the cloth bag and walked toward the crowd to let everyone touch it. No one missed. There was someone who grabbed and wanted to open it but was stopped by Ning Mengyao, saying to open it together later. After everyone grabbed it, Ning Mengyao let them open their hands. All at once, the people exploded. Why do we all have black ink on our hand? Wasn't it? The crowd looked at one another and realized that everyone had ink on their hand and immediately became unhappy. Wasn't this saying that all of them were the thief? While Ning Mengyao looked at a place. Only Madame Luo's hand was white. Aunt Luo. Are the things in my house delicious? Ning Mengyao walked to the front of Madame Luo and stared at her eyes while saying word by word. Madame Luo exploded, glaring at Ning Mengyao. My hands had nothing on it. Based on what did you say I am the thief? Ning Mengyao did not speak but turned the cloth bag inside out. The crowd saw that the bottom of the cloth bag was a spot of black. That was the ink Ning Mengyao put there. Once the hand grab until the bottom, the hand will be tainted by the ink.